Cold email can get you 1 to 4 or even more new clients every single month. That is, if you know how to run consistently profitable campaigns. My name is Isaac Wood, and in the last 12 months, my agency has sent over 2 million cold emails, booked over 500 sales calls, and generated hundreds of thousands of revenue for my business and my clients' businesses. And in this video, I'm going to reveal my process that will get you so incredibly good at cold email that it becomes impossible for your business not to grow. Now, in my experience, 80% of the results in cold email come from 20% of the inputs. These 20% of actions are your biggest leverage points in the whole process. And if you can nail these, then you're simply going to make it. Now, that's why in this video, the main things that I'm going to be covering are the 5 biggest levers that you have in your cold email process and how to actually get results with them. And then I'm going to give you a proven cold email script that you can use to help your business fill your calendar with qualified leads every single month. So let's get started. So there are 5 major levers that you can pull in cold email. Now, these are the 5 things that you can nail. You're going to get 80% of the results from cold email from the 20% of the actions, which will be these 5 steps right here. We have offer, we have lead list, copy, a bucket of other leverage, and then the infrastructure that we use to send. Now let's talk cold email leverage. Let's talk the most important and the biggest, greatest lever that we have. It is going to be simply our offer. Now, the offer is incredibly important to nail if you want to get any results with cold email. And let me explain why. So in a recent campaign we were running, we reached out to 7,000 prospects. In this campaign's first couple weeks, we booked 7 new prospects into a meeting. Of these 7 prospects, 6 replied to 1 offer. In this test, we had 5 offers. So that means that 1 out of the 5 offers generated 86% of the meeting results. Again, this goes back to the 80-20 principle. 80% of the returns came from 20% of the inputs. Now, this is really important to notice and to note, because if you can nail your offer, then you can get an insane amount of feedback, of positive replies, and meetings booked. If you have bad offers, you're going to just not make it. So let's talk about why an offer is really, really important. First, offer is incredibly important because when you're reaching out to prospects with cold email, they are exactly that. They're cold. They don't trust you. They don't know you. They've never heard from you. They've never seen your face. You weren't recommended to them. They didn't ask to be reached out to. And as a result, again, they don't trust you. So you got to make an offer to them that actually makes them want to reply. And the way that we do that is by giving them something free and offer some kind of a risk reversal. Now, when I say free, I don't necessarily mean free work, but I might do free work if it behooves me and it's something you can do as part of your process. But you want to give them something free that's valuable. So what that means is something that teaches them, something that gives them utility, specifically related to the pains that they are facing in their role. Now, if you want to take it a step further, you can offer a risk reversal. So that's something as simple as, hey, I'll give you $50 if you hop on a call and it wasn't worth your time, right? So the reason why this is useful and this helps is because when a lot of people think about an offer and going to market with something for free, they think, hey, it's free, there's no risk. That's not actually true because you're not considering from the perspective of the prospect, right? So you're getting into the inbox, you're saying, hey, this is some free thing. They might be thinking, hey, does this even work in the first place? How much time is this going to take me? If I open this up, is this actually going to work? Is this going to be useful? And perhaps if they look at it, they don't get any results from it, they're just not going to like you and they're just not going to trust you again. So we use a risk reversal to get around this, and it helps with the conversion rate there, because the big thing here, again, it's like you're considering all of the different risks that a prospect might consider or go through. Now, what we're offering as part of our free offer is a measurable outcome. So there's a difference between offers and services that a lot of people conflate. So when we're talking about services, that is what you do for your client. The offer is what the prospect or the client actually gets as a result of working with you. So the offer can be something broad and a recurring long-term service. It can be doing cold email ongoing, specifically getting 5 to 15 qualified calls per month using cold email. That's one example of an offer that's recurring. Or you could do a one-time offer. You can say, hey, we'll set up a cold email system for you, X amount of time. This is the result that you're going to get. Or you can offer them something even more granular. You can give them an asset, a lead magnet, a YouTube video, something that's valuable that teaches them something. But the key thing here is that it has to have a measurable outcome. They should be getting something from your offer. There's a sense of reciprocity that you evoke in giving something first before expecting anything in return. And so that not only builds goodwill, builds rapport, but it also proves that you're in the game, you know what you're doing, and it, again, helps with the conversions. And a way that you can communicate this is by sending an asset that is in video form. Now, if you were getting hit up by someone and they said, hey, hop on a call with me, you might say, oh, maybe, maybe not. But if they hit you up and they say, hey, I have this video asset, it shows you how to get this great result that you would like because based on my research, you're facing XYZ pain, they're going to be a lot more inclined to want to actually engage with you in your message. And so in short, I can't overemphasize this. The offer is going to be the most important thing. And the big high level overarching thing here is your offer is really just meant to get the prospect to engage with you. Ultimately, you want to get them to open your lead magnet, review it, engage with it, and then you got to push them into a call. You're not necessarily going for the sale here. You're not going to close the deal. You're just trying to take that first step. So here's a quick little graphic just to show you how important the offer is, right? If you're looking for results, it's hard to get them off the ground. Your offer is going to be 80% of the results right there. So let's keep going. Next important lever here, simply your lead list, right? So this is maybe a no-brainer for a lot of folks, but the lead list is incredibly important because it's actually who you're reaching out to. So historically, there's been a lot of different processes that you need to go through in order to actually build a list. Many of them include using manual labor, finding a VA to do it, or using complex data scrapers, parsing together different data sources to get a really good list. There are ways that you can do that with new data technologies like ListKit, like Apollo, that basically put all that information in there that allow you to filter pretty simply and at will. Now, the key thing here is that there are a lot of people who use these tools already, so you can get really good results with a great offer. But the key thing with any of this is using intent to increase your relevance, right? So if you're able to filter a list, everyone knows you can have your industry filters, you'll do location filters, company size filters, you'll do title and management level filters, technology filters, all important in doing outreach. If you can find some specific intent, that's going to increase your reply rates substantially from, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5% interested replies, upwards of 10, 20, and 30%. And the reason why is because if there's a prospect who has specific intent to buy your service or engage with your offer, then there's going to be a better conversion, obviously. And so what does intent mean? Intent can be quite a few things, but a few examples are, did this person recently join a new company? Did a person recently leave the company that was in a specific role related to, call it marketing, and you do SEO or paid ads, they might be in the market for something like that. If they're running ads already, that's going to be intent that they are either they have budget, they are looking to grow, and maybe they need new creatives, right? That's another example of intent. You can look at the number of job openings that they have available today. If they're looking to grow substantially and it's go-to-market roles, they're probably looking to expand their company. If they're more operations focused, they're looking to obviously nail down their fulfillment side. But either way, they're looking to grow. Perhaps you want to target companies that have recently been funded, because if they've been funded, then clearly they're looking to scale up their program. And so, you could use that as intent to reach out. The key thing here is it's going to be case by case, and not everybody is going to have this big overarching intent trigger. But if you know your market really well and you know exactly why people buy, you can reverse engineer into the intent signals, which ultimately help you close more deals, right? So if you can get a buyer who's in much more pain, there's going to be a substantially higher close rate than somebody who is in nice to have mode or just doing research, right? So then the last thing here is making sure that you want to clean your list. So it's pretty well versed in the cold email space and community that you just simply cannot send messages and emails to a dirty list. The reason why that's important is because when you send bad emails, they bounce. And when emails bounce, you get hit on your deliverability. When you send bad emails, they end up in the spam folder. And spam is where all good emails go to die. And you will never have a good campaign if it's landing mainly in the spam folder. So we do everything we can to maintain inboxing into the primary inbox, and cleaning your list is just one of those basic building block things that you just have to do every time. We use Million Verify to do this. So, and I want to illustrate the point a little bit more on using like intent to find a better lead. That's better chances of closing. So this is your competition here. And so this is your prospect. And this is your prospect getting hit up by all these people who are using the exact same data and the exact same filtering. Now, this is you using your very specific intent-based data. Now, if you can find the, you can reverse engineer that intent, then you're going to be in a much better spot. You're going to be able to close at a much higher rate, as I mentioned. So just try to figure out exactly what your prospect needs. Look back at your customer base, do a cross section of what exists and what is true about all of these customers. And then if you can find some commonalities, then that becomes your intent. So let's keep going. Next thing here, copy. So what you want to consider when you're doing any sort of cold email outreach, you have to be in the mind of your prospect, right? They are getting hit up quite a lot. They have busy day jobs. They're getting pulled in a lot of different directions. They'd probably get a novel long email from their direct superior. And as a result, they're seeing a lot of messages and not super stoked about it. This means that we need to find a way to stand out in the inbox. And we do that with our copy. The first thing that we need to do is write a message that's 100 words or less. And the reason why this is important is because, again, you have to think about the attention span that people have. And if you're writing a long wordy email, they're going to get through a fraction of it. So keep it really, really short. Next thing here, this is just a basic framework, but you want to go intro, offer, call to action. So you start the relevant reason why you're reaching out. You provide an offer, you give them some social proof, you tell them what they can expect to get and why it works, and then a call to action basically telling them to go to the next step. This works, super simple. It can be replicated a million times and allows you to test a lot of different things, which is ultimately going to allow you to be successful because it's rare that you hit on the first time. So you got to keep testing, finding what works. And when you find what works, that's the gold ticket. Next thing here, we have relevance over personalization. So this is very much related to offers, but you're actually doing the outreach with the copy, right? So what do I mean by relevance over personalization? Relevance means does this matter to this person you're reaching out to? Now, if you have an amazing offer that's solving an incredibly deep and consistent pain point for a prospect, that's going to be really relevant. Now, you can write the best copy in the world and sell something to somebody that nobody wants. It's not going to matter if you personalize the message. It's not going to matter if you know what college they went to. It's not going to matter if you checked out their most recent LinkedIn post. It's not going to matter what their favorite sports team is if they don't have any of the pain. So the focus for your messaging should always be relevance first, and then start to add in personalizations to just increase the overall success rate. So that's the way you should start thinking about this, is relevance first, then personalization. As an example, when I was first starting out, I ran some campaigns that had some broken spin tags for whatever reason. The software messed up, and I was still getting replies. And the reason why I was getting good replies was because it was a good offer and the copy was clean enough. It wasn't super personalized, but the offer was no-brainer enough that people still wanted to respond, and they didn't even mind that it was automated. You know, if this had happened and it was totally personalized and you had these, merge field errors, like, it's not gonna make them want to reply. So just keep that in mind. Then the last thing here is one call to action means do one thing. So each step in the process is just to get the prospect to take the next step. So when it comes to cold email, your main focus is not to try to get them to actually close the deal. The main focus should really be just do the next thing. In this case, it's engage with your lead magnet, or if you're just going to push them to a call, do that. But based on, the guidance in this video is, hey, do you want to see this specific asset? That's going to then get them to raise their hand. That builds intent. And then you can use that intent to then follow up with people basically in perpetuity until they give you an answer, whether that's a yes or no. So thinking about how your prospect is in the inbox, right? Total zombie mode. It's 4:30. They just got an email from their boss, not stoked on it. And this is pretty much what they look like. Bang, 10 minutes later, your email pops in their inbox, and it's a little bit different, right? It's not asking them from something. It's not saying, hey, take a meeting with me. Hey, can you do this thing for me? Hey, I'd love to hop on a call with you. Like, that's so played out. Everybody's seen that 1,000 times. What we're doing instead is, hey, I wanted to give this to you because I thought this was relevant because of you're in this role and you're probably facing these specific pains. This will teach you how to do this process and get the specific result. And then basically, this is who we've helped out to do the same thing, right? So if you can check all three of these boxes, that's going to go a long way in being a massive pattern interrupt in the inbox. And that's really like the key thing here, is so many people are just focused on writing an email and trying to get a meeting booked, when that's not always in the best interest of you or your prospect. So this is allowing everybody to be on the same page. It gives them something. You're building reciprocity, you're building trust, and then you're building intent, which you can then use to close the deal, which is what you actually want to do. And then this is your prospect after that. Probably a little cheeky there. So maybe not every time, but most of the time, right? Okay, so let's talk about other leverage here. This is going to be things that are related to cold email, but are not specifically part of the cold email system that you'll use to actually send the emails. These are going to be things that are related to your online presence. And I can't emphasize this enough, but if you don't exist online and you're a ghost online, you're just not going to get results with cold email, plain and simple. I've worked with clients where there's one person who has no online presence. I have another person with the same offer who has incredible online presence, great social proof. Guess which has gotten better results? The one with social proof, right? So this is basically the process that people go through when they're actually looking at you, right? I'm going to go through step by step here, and we can chat on it while we look at this picture or graphic, excuse me. So first, you send the email. What happens then? The prospect gets the email. They say, who is this person? Why do I care? They say, all right, let's Google them. Let's take a look. Let's go on their YouTube. Let's watch their videos. Let's go on their landing page. We'll review their video sales letter. Just make sure that this is something that I want, that it's a process that I believe in, that I think can actually get me results, that actually substantiates the claim with the case studies. And then also, I might go check Trustpilot, might check G2, might check any of the third-party review sites, because, there's people who out here are scamming. So got to just make sure that we're putting ourselves in the position to not look like a scammer, because we're not. And so once they do the research, they'll say, hey, sounds legit. At that point, they'll respond. They say, hey, I'm interested in a meeting. I'm available. All right. That's how it goes. So when you are doing your cold email, you have to always be making content, specifically putting out YouTube videos. You should be putting out articles, blog posts, try to get ranked on Google, which will be your socials, which will be your LinkedIn, which will be your YouTube, which will be your landing page. Like, all of those should be landing pretty high up on the search results. Again, your VSL, your video sales letter, that tells your process, that says what's the result that they're going to get. It goes into your case studies, and then what it costs, how long it should be to actually get results, that kind of stuff. Again, we talked about third-party reviews, and then just making sure that there is case studies on your site. Best case scenario is going to be video interview with the client, and then also a write-up breakdown of the actual results. So last step here we can get into is the infrastructure. Now, this is one of those things that if you're doing cold email and you're not doing this, you're 5 years behind the game. So I'll touch on this very briefly, but the key high-level thing here, you want to have secondary domains, which means you don't send cold emails from your home domain. You buy some secondaries, like mine is, say Microsoft.com, buy Microsoft.com, go Microsoft.com as an example. You want to use different email sending platforms to diversify your sending volume, because we've all seen Microsoft will go down one day, Google will go down one day, or their spam policies will change and get harder. So diversify across those, and then also start thinking about using SMTP servers as well to further diversify your sending infrastructure. Right now, we're just recommending 20 cold emails per day, 20 warm-ups, and shooting for a bounce rate below 2%. If it's if it's above that, you're going to have a problem, and that should be this. Yep. So that should be less than 2% bounce rate, not greater than 2. And if it's greater than 2, then you should pause your campaigns. And then here we have the infrastructure and what it looks like, right? So you have your secondary domains, you have your inboxes underneath that, your prospects reply, they reply with positive intent. We deliver the lead magnet, the video, the training, whatever it is. They book the call, they show up, they're a sales qualified lead at that point, and then they close the deal. Simple as that. So now, how are we actually going to get that prospect into the meeting and to engage with our lead magnet? Let's do some sample outreach. First, we'll talk through this framework that we've used to actually book 30 plus meetings a month for our clients, and then we'll just do the actual example. So we have, hey, first name, relevant first line. We recently helped a case study company achieve a specific result without the bad thing that they want to avoid. I think we can help you do something similar. Would you like to see a case study showing how it works? The actual example of this that we've used is this, right? So, hey, first name, notice you're heading up the growth arm of company name. Curious if you're facing issues not having enough leads for your business. We recently helped a case study company book 5 to 15 qualified calls per month on a performance basis, meaning you only pay when the prospect shows up. I think we can help you do something similar. Would you like to see a case study showing how this works? Now, why does this work? Let's talk about it. So the script works because it gives the prospect a clear benefit. It minimizes their risk by saying it's performance basis. only pay when you show up. It proves the claim with the case study. And then in this case, the specific call to action is, would you like to see the case study? So again, you're not pushing them into a meeting. You're pushing them to say, hey, do you want to see this interesting asset that shows you how to do the specific result? That is then used for them to say yes. And then from there, we just book them in. So apply this to your next campaign, try out different offers, and I'd love to hear your feedback and how it actually worked out for you. All right, so that's it for this video. If you liked what you saw, let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to get some real-time feedback on your campaigns, feel free to book in a meeting at levergrowth.io, and we'll be happy to see if we can help you out. But see you in the next video. Peace.